The World Economic Forum CEO just stepped down, I think, 10 minutes before you and I started speaking because he had ties to, was it ties to Epstein that just came out? Mm-hmm. Go up to the top, Rob. Let me see the title of the article. Go all the way to the top. What does it say? This World Economic Forum CEO quits after Epstein links examined NVIDIA results failed to wow markets as it happened. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now. And he's got a tough job. I think he's got a very tough job. He looked like he was pretty loose, happy at State of the Union. I thought he was going to be intense. He came in, he did his thing for an hour and 48 minutes at 79 years old.
Yeah.
About to be 80 years old. And he just lost the tariff ruling. That's a big defeat. It's a public loss. And listen, America's crushing it.
Yeah.
America's doing great.
He's the Don. He is Teflon Don.
You ever met him? Have you guys ever?
Yeah, he's Teflon Don. And I love his bravado and I love the strength that he pushes out. I supported a lot of the things that he was doing. And I was never a Democrat in that support, but I've never voted because I didn't want to be responsible.
You've never voted?
No, I didn't want to be responsible for what other people, when you give a vote to someone, whatever they do, you have a hand in it. And I was not supporting everything that was taking place, but I didn't think that the Democrats was running the country in a proper way. But there's room for improvement now within this administration. And that's why I'm saying we should start using a little more tact because nobody's threatened anymore by the threats doesn't do anything but causes the other nations to run to the enemy.
You have any desire of politics? Does that at all do anything for you? I can't see you because to me, you give me the vibes of...
I'm honest.
Yeah.
Or I try to be honest. And that doesn't work in politics.
Yeah. It's... There's a showmanship element to it, right? There's an element of, how you shine on the big screen.
But doing that every day... I can do it for a few hours on stage, but then I go outside and I'm a regular person. I don't run with a bodyguard, even though at times when I was doing the science, I felt like I needed to because I kept getting hit by all of these.
So you said you met, first time you met Trump was?
I met Trump when I was doing, I don't know if it was Jimmy Fallon or David Kimmel. And I was ready to go and do my thing. And then they were like, oh, we're going to pull you because, Trump is here, And so we passed by each other in the hall, said hello, But I did support him in the biggest way.
Publicly or
privately?
Did you get in trouble for that or no? Did he give you a hard time?
Everybody... You support who you want to support. I did support a lot of his policies.
Were people in Hollywood, like from the outside, it looks like 90% is, on one side politically. Are there a lot of conservatives that are in the business that just kind of keep it to themselves?
Yeah, I think so.
Are there some names that are massive names that if we knew they were conservative, you'd be shocked or not really?
Yeah, I think a lot more people, the older you get, you start off liberal. But the older you get, you become more and more conservative because you realize that you have to be very careful with the steps you're taking more than anything else.
I fully agree.
Because he is the president of our country, you have to be supportive and be respectful of him. Even if you don't like his policies, even if you don't like his personality. I was told when I was studying to be a witness, it said, are you supposed to listen to the elders? If you saw an elder that slapped another member of the congregation, would you listen to his advice? If that same elder lied openly, would you listen to his advice? And he said, if that same elder denied, your Jehovah, would you still listen to him? And I was like, no, you don't listen to him anymore. And the brother said to me, he said, well, that same person was Peter. He didn't just slap another member. He cut off the ear of someone. He didn't just lie on anyone. He lied about, the Savior. As long as somebody is in the position of authority that they've been granted, you still listen and follow the authority and respect that position. But you do it with a full conscience, with an understanding, to become president twice, the way he's done it, 45th and 47th, he has earned the respect. He is still the most powerful person on the planet. And I really dig his dance, but I think there's times where you can use finesse. He's charming. You can use finesse to accomplish so much more because you don't have to use all the power that you've got. So.
Do you feel like his second term, he's a little bit more calmer than
He's
first
a lot
term?
more calm. He's a lot more calm.
First term, it was like a fight. Every day it was a fight.
Well, they were trying to impeach him every single day. So we put the president into this PTSD mode.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's always trying to defend that. And I don't think anyone becomes president of this country so that they can tear apart the country. They're really trying to unite the country, like even with what ICE is doing. They could do it in a more diplomatic way. They can do it, ICE. Yeah, they can do it in a more respectful means. You do not, if you use aggression, then you're going to start a revolution. If you keep pushing with aggression, revolution ends up coming out of it. But if you use diplomacy, if you use reasoning, if you use understanding, then people can align to your cause. That was one of the things Nelson Mandela did. He was like, I can get up there and become emotional, and talk about all these terrible atrocities that's happened in an emotional way. He said, but then I'll just look at angry and emotional. He said, you have to reason with people. Mm-hmm. And so I think our government needs to take that stance because we don't have the power of the dollar that we once had, where we could have our way with other countries. And I don't know if we can survive being an isolated, country at present.
California, would you ever consider leaving California or no?
Well, now that they've enacted this new rule.
Wealth tax.
Yeah. $1 billion. And you can make your first $1 billion, but anything over $1 billion, 55%, the first 100 million. But then anything after that, it's a 5% tax. It's a weird thing.
Who thinks that's a good idea? Who thinks that's a good idea?
Nobody.
They already lost $1 trillion. This is the second time California lost $1 trillion.
Yeah. They're about to do it again.
Well, they did it already. They lost $1 trillion in the last 6 months.
Yeah. And they're going to now impose this new tax, this wealth tax. It's going to chase all the businesses out of California. And Governor Newsom, he's trying to fight against it. It's not something that he wants to put in place because he saw what happened the last time they pulled that. But I think there's a particular reason. I think somebody else is trying to get the power and the money out of California so they can move in it. I don't know. But it seems very coordinated. It doesn't seem like something that's just happening out of a whim. You don't chase away the money. You don't chase away money.
When he's doing the gerrymandering in California, now the Congress is going to be 48-4, Democrat to Republican.
Yeah.
Even if a governor wins and he's a Republican, you can't do nothing. You can't get nothing to be. Congress is not going to be on your side. Like, what do you think you're going to pass? Nothing if you become a governor there in the state of California. So have you reached the tipping point where you guys talk about leaving and living elsewhere or not yet?
We're thinking about leaving the U.S. because the U.S. isn't necessarily safe and welcoming right now. You try and think about, okay, where can I live? Well, I definitely want to live in a place where they don't have a military base. Because what? Because of the escalation and the conflicts around the world, and now the U.S., the homeland can be hit. Well, you can't be in Hawaii because Hawaii, they have
military
budget
everywhere.
Yep. You can't be in California. You can't be in Florida. You can't be in all of these places that are easily accessible.
But not Florida. What do you consider Florida?
it's just open. I love Florida, but the waters are
Let me
open.
take you, Terrence. You would love the restaurants in Miami. I can see you guys in Miami or Palm Beach,
but,
or
man,
they're moving here and they're making it safer here.
but you can't make it safe for ballistic weapons, missiles. You know, it's you want
Where
some
would you
place
go
that's
outside the
Iceland.
U.S. that you?
Iceland. Iceland is a
I
beautiful.
thought you were going to say Costa Rica. I thought you were going to say like
oh.
a low-key, quiet, no military state.
Iceland
you
is
know.
no military. Iceland is.
You could live in Iceland?
Oh yeah, we've been a couple times and we love it. But we want a place that's that's non-confrontational. You know, that's what you ultimately want. You want a place where your kids can grow. Because I've got 2 kids on the spectrum, and I worry about how people are. I need to be in a place where you have your water, you have the thermal, the heat there. The dollar cash is going to disappear. I think that's one of the biggest things that's hurting humanity. Is this indirect form of exchange. That's messed up the natural interaction. When people bartered, there was a good exchange. Nobody felt like they were being taken or anything like that. I think ultimately, as we become more conscious, we will get to a place like that. Hi, everyone. My name is Terrence Howard. I'm an actor, but in the field of science also. So if you would like to connect with me, you can connect with me on Connect. The QR code is down below, and let's have a great conversation.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.